I was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and we came and had a family holiday at St Austell Bay. Pretty sure that would be my first time to Cornwall, because my mother was born in Truro and we were offered a house that we could use. My mother loved Truro, loved everything about Cornwall. We then used the same house and had many family holidays there. So then you had to carry everything down, all your suitcases and everything, and of course at the end of the holiday you had to carry everything back up the cliff as well. Very fond memories, and it was just so different from in those days. We lived in Essex. My mother was born in a house called Truro, which is still there today. My father was in the army. I think they met when he got his commission from Sandhurst. He went into the Duke of Cornwall's Light Infantry. They got married at Truro Cathedral in 1937. Her father was the town clerk at Truro, and he was a partner in a firm of solicitors in Truro. And he did a lot of work for the cathedral. And so the canon said, yes, of course you can get married at the cathedral. At the end of the First World War, my grandfather, one of his brothers was killed at Ypres, and he went out in 1928 to visit the Menin Gate and the grave of where he was buried. And while he was out there, he got flu and died. And in those days you couldn't bring people back, so he was buried. And there is a war cemetery with one Cornish cross in it, because he didn't die in the war. I have one printed version of his memorial service, which was held at the cathedral. It was a great shock, I think, to everybody in Truro that it happened. I think reading what I just read in the newspaper from that time, he was a very highly rated, very wonderful person, very kind, very helpful. I was asked by a lady called Rosemary Squire, who is one of the co-chair trustees, and she has a house in front of me just here in St Maur's, and I had raised some money for St Just Church. And she said, oh, if you're good at fundraising, would you help us raise some money for the new theatre in Truro? I mean, if I was going to do a memorial for this grandfather that I've never met, that would be a perfect place to do it, because it's in the building that he worked in. So that was about 5 years ago. So we're still doing it, and with what they do and what I do, we have to raise an extra £2 million on top of all the grant money that's coming in. And now I think we're going to have one of the best regional theatres in the country. I think structurally the building, now it's going to be stripped back to its granite core, will be an absolutely dramatic building to come into, with the entrance now on Boscawen Street. I hope from what we've done when it reopens, it's going to be a very successful regional theatre, which will do an awful lot for a lot of benefit for the youth in Cornwall. And to have 1,300 people be able to come in for the bigger shows, that'll be absolutely wonderful.